Hey mini bike friends, Dan Przaski from allaboutminibikes.com, and I want to talk to you about mini bike builds, vintage mini bikes, and mini bike plans. And so I'll start with this right here is the build that I'm doing right now, and that was basically coming from these plans that we have. These plans were in Boys Life magazine, Popular Mechanics, for over 40 years. I had acquired the rights to them quite a few years ago. And so this build is like that. And if you'll take a look, you can see that it looks a lot like this 1970 Sears Runabout mini bike. And it's probably why I like it because, you know, as a kid, this is the design I remember. And this was your most basic mini bike. Back in 1970, I want to say this was about $119. Which at that time still was expensive, but as a kid, you're thinking, boy, I could scrape that money up after a year of shoveling snow, my paper route, and everything else, where at 150 or 89, that really seemed to be out of reach. So this is the build I'm on right now, which is going off the plans. The difference here that I'm not doing from the plans the same was that the forks were different. I did all the bends like you would have done on a modern one, like I did here on our Little Red Racer. But the difference is when you deviate from the plans, you can cause other issues. So right here, these plans would actually have this same front end. As you can see, the handlebars go straight up and down. And then in the plans, it says you take a tubing and weld it right there. And I thought, I don't want to do that. But I really should have, because had I have done that, you actually only need one bend in the bars right there. And it doesn't throw you off or anything while you ride because the bike is it's small. It's not really small like others I've seen, but it's smaller, so the fork rake angle doesn't matter that much. And you're not going 50 miles an hour, so it really doesn't matter. Or at least you shouldn't be going 50 miles an hour on one of these things. So I like that this right here let me know that the mistakes I made or the changes I made on the bike were just didn't need to do it. And although I love the Little Red Racer, it runs great and everything's really good with it. This right here is a smaller mini bike, like this one here, still comfortable. And the plans, you would be using a, it just had the setup there so that you'd use drum brakes, where right here, the Runabout came with a scrub brake. And on this mini bike here, I've never done this before, I'm gonna go with a clutch brake on here, just to do it. But regardless, the reason why I was trying to come up with one that we could mass produce, and it would have been like that, or should I say like this one right here. So right now, as I'm going along with this build, I'm going to do some more videos and talk about it and talk about the bikes and why I'm doing what I'm doing. This right here is a Sears catalog from 1975. Well, they don't call it the Runabout anymore. They put fenders on it, the front and the back. But looking at, now the seat was a little bit different too, but looking at it is basically the same bike, but you know, they probably put fenders to make it more attractive or whatever, and that's not an expensive piece to put on there. So anyway, I'll get into this more as I'm going along with it and show you the build and what I'm doing. I've got the motor over here. This one came with it, although we don't know. It's a Sears, but it says Spider on it. And this would have been the Runabout. So somebody that watched when I put the picture up before said, well, it must have been a Friday or a Monday, and a worker just went and slapped the wrong sticker on there or the wrong motor. Anyway, so I find it all interesting, and hopefully you do too. I'll keep videoing on this as I do these builds because I'm really excited about it. So if you have questions or comments, please leave them. Also, please share because that can help us grow, and we like hearing good comments and bikes that people have done or what they're doing with them in vintage. And it lets you know if you're making mistakes or not. And I've made plenty of mistakes, and they're my own mistakes because I take and I modify things when I shouldn't, or I make the changes I shouldn't do. And anyway, but hey, that's learning. So thanks a lot. Please share, please leave comments, and we'll get right back with another video coming up really soon. Have a great day.